Hey guys, this is Sam, aka JustCasual here with another episode of Just Casual Vlogs. Today is Tuesday, April 25th, and I'm going to be talking about a meeting I had with Weldon and what happens when you have a lot of good ideas but not enough time to implement them all. So, like I said, I had a meeting with Weldon. If you guys aren't aware, I am the lead producer of the Ask Weldon podcast, or the Weldon Green podcast. And so I guess I'm part of Weldon's team. And Weldon has a lot of people I'm not exactly sure what it is, but he has a lot of people that he interacts with in his Slack team, all part in some way of the Mind Games brand, I guess. I'm not sure if everyone works for him or if they're just kind of apprentices or they're learning from him or they're just good connections of networks that he has. I'm not exactly sure. That being said, we had a meeting today and he wants to start holding bi-weekly meetings for his team, and it was really, really good. I really appreciated it. What happened was he put together like a little slideshow, and what I appreciate is that Weldon is pretty professional with things and he has a good vision, good understanding of what he needs to do, and I think he is very experienced and understands how things work and how things should be. So the way the presentation worked was, first he kind of gave his vision and his mission for what mindgames.gg is and what Weldon's brand is and what we're all working together to help him build. And then with that, he gave his idea of his future plans and what he expects. He also put this meeting together that he's hoping to do bi-weekly to, get the team together, which I really appreciate because I did not know anyone part of the team except one person, which would be Chris Alphanar. If you guys don't know who he is, he's part of the Trinity Force Network. He was doing, or is doing, I'm not sure, the Hearth of the Cards podcast with them. He is also the sports psychology trainer of H2K, so he works remotely. He's somewhere in the Midwest, I think. I don't remember, but he is part of the Weldon team. So Weldon puts together this presentation. So I got to meet one other person, Summer. I think her last name is Scott, but Summer, who is a blog writer, and she's also, I guess, a trainer or performance coach for another esports team. I'm not sure which one. But she's out in California, so that's pretty cool. And I'm like, oh, so I get to meet new people. This is great. And I guess he did this presentation a few times with different members because everyone lives in different time zones, so it's kind of hard to get everyone together. That being said, it was really, really useful, and I really appreciate what he did. And it's really cool because, I was thinking in the near future I'd be trying to create this podcasting network, and that's where a lot of my actions are going towards, and creating new podcasts and some ideas and bringing more people on to help me produce that. And then I realized that I'm set in a really good spot right now to learn a ton from Weldon. And I don't even mean Weldon's mentoring me and teaching me, but just observing what he's doing. Man, this guy won't let me pass him. All right, just observing what he's doing and then emulating that, or just understanding why he does things, is really good. And I kind of need to start taking notes on what he does and just seeing why he does things. And then when I get the chance to ask him, the plethora of information that I can get from his experience in just building his brand for 3-5 years or whatever it is really, really good information. Really good information. Because Weldon is kind of the closest thing to what I'm trying to do, his path. And with that, he's not super, super far ahead of me, Alex Bloomberg of Gimlet Media. So he's a few years ahead of me, or 4 or 5 years ahead of me. Maybe he's 10 years ahead of me. I'm not sure, but he's closer. So that's really, really cool to see because it's more relatable to me. And yeah, it's really cool because I have this Alex Bloomberg, see what he does, but that's the end goal and seeing how that works, while Weldon is somewhere in between that. So that was a really cool experience. We got to learn what his plans were, and it's really cool on me because I am recognizing a lot of things he's doing because I have done my research and I have started looking into things and trying to understand as best I can, like how to put out content, how to market things, how to create structure and organization and brand and just et cetera, and I'm like, oh, I see what Weldon's doing. That's what I've been listening to or been reading about and learning about. I'm like, okay, so I'm kind of on the right track of the way I'm doing things, which is really encouraging because I'm like, okay, so if I like quit and did this full time, maybe I could like make it, right? So the meeting was really, really useful. Really enjoyed it. It was great. So now, the second point that I want to talk about also was really inspiring, just to get on the same page and see the vision and just like talk to people that are passionate. It's really, really cool to be on a team where everyone is on the same page, everyone wants everyone to succeed, and we're working towards a common goal that everyone is passionate about. That is so cool, and it's really exciting. It's really exciting. Oh God, it's really exciting. And that's why I want to be part of like the passionate team. So with that, the second part that I wanted to mention, what happens when you have a lot of good ideas, a lot of good choices, and not enough time or not enough resources? So I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but I think I have a lot of good ideas. I think I have a ton. I think I could come up with 5, 6 podcast ideas that could all grow to have like to be bigger than Lola. I really do believe that. Average about Lola. I really do believe that, and they're all in my head. And this is blowing wind because I have nothing to prove it, but I have a confidence that these ideas, just from what I've seen and just like seeing what succeeds, that is possible. If I find the right people and all that kind of stuff and the right resources, I can make like 5 or 6 podcasts that really do well. Do okay / well. That being said, like if I have that many good choices, what do I do? And one thing that Gary talks about is if you have like 5 things that you're passionate about or 2 things and you just don't know what to do, and if you really can't figure it out, flip a coin. Just flip a coin. I was like, oh, that kind of sucks leaving it up to fate. But at the same time, it totally makes sense. If you have 2 great ideas and they both will succeed, flip a coin. Because what hurts you most, okay, when I say you, I mean actually me. What would hurt me most is just not doing. So there are some actions, and I'm moving very slowly towards this to actually get some of these podcasts that I have in my head alive. But again, you can't put any credibility or validity to my statements until I actually do it, right? I'm talking, and hopefully I like walk the walk. Who knows? Maybe I'll do it and it'll end after 2 episodes. Maybe I'll do it and just won't release anything because it sucks. Actually, I should release it just because who knows? But anyway, if you have a good idea, you flip a coin to pick which one you're going to do. That's better than me not doing anything, right? So then it comes to the fact that I have too many ideas and I have too many things going for me. And now with the meeting with Weldon about the growth of our plan, because he wants to kind of maybe move towards weekly podcasts or have kind of seasons where we work on them all and then release them over like a weekly schedule for like, 3 months or whatever it is. And I don't see it happening where I can create 5 podcasts. I also don't see it happening where because I create 5 podcasts, I can quit my job and do that full time. Because unless I have a extreme change in lifestyle that I forced upon my wife, where we live off her income and then my small chump change, I'm not willing to do that to my wife. To have that kind of a shock. What I'd rather do is find a job part-time or find another job where I'm getting those skills to help me in my current side hustle, which would be all this podcasting stuff, content creation stuff, branding, marketing, creative content, all those kind of things. So with that, I'm starting to really evaluate what is my best place to put my time and efforts, which is really tough because honestly it's going to require sacrifice. And I'm staying in denial because who knows what I can do, but I really think I need to find someone to take over the Lola podcast. And not completely. I still want to be involved. I still want to be like the person that gives everything an okay. But I really need to get someone, and I've been working on this for last 2 or 3 months, to get someone that's basically doing me, what I do for the Lola podcast. Because I love the Lola podcast. I think it could be big. I just cannot give it the effort that I need to grow it. Otherwise, it'll stay stagnant or it'll actually regress. And I don't want it to regress. I really don't want it to start stepping back because I feel like I'm at the cusp of making something meaningful to a lot of our listeners, making great content, giving a lot of value to them. And I don't want to lose that. Because really, I want to give my listeners good content. I want them to enjoy this game more. I want them to have fun. I want them to climb and reach their goals. I want to be a part of that and to help with that. That is what Lola is about. And I want to have an impact. Yes, it's great. I've made impacts on individuals' lives and probably more than I've heard, which is great. But man, there's 100 million active users of this game, and we have 800 to 1,200 people listening every episode. I want a bigger chunk of that. I'm really grateful for what I have, but I want a bigger chunk of that. I want 5,000. I want 10,000. I want 25,000, 50,000 people that are listening to the podcast, and then those guys getting out of bronze. I want none of my listeners in actually no, that's a lie, because I want a lot of listeners in bronze. A lot of our listeners in bronze, because that means we're reaching out to the bronze people to help them get out of bronze and into silver and into gold and into plat. Then they can start complaining that low or elo hell doesn't exist, or it does exist and it's encompassing all elos. And and I want those all to change their mindset and be better players. So I really care about Lola and I want it to live on. But I think I have a side podcast that I'll be being a part of that will help me grow in my interview skills, which would be that Champion Rundown podcast. The second one would be my esports podcast, which would be almost become my side hustle. That's my secret, I'm going to make this big and I'm going to make a connection and this is where my name will get out there, because I really, really, really want to tell some stories about these people. And it's interesting because this happened recently. The last week or two, I've been hearing so many stories about these people and hearing people talk about people that have created content or that have done a lot or accomplished a lot, and people are telling them they got lucky, or those creators saying, oh yeah, people tell me that I've gotten lucky or that my content's not good or whatever. And I'm just oh, they don't know the years of effort I put in. I'm oh, that's exactly what I want to talk about. I think there's so many stories I need to be heard. I gotta do that. So with all these things, that's Lola, the Weldon podcast, which is gonna ramp up, then the esports podcast or the league esports content creator podcast, and then there's a champion podcast. That's 4 podcasts. That's way too much for me to do. There's no way I can do it. And I want to, but I also realized if I just dropped everything and did the Weldon podcast, I would learn so much. So that's really tough. It's really tough. So I have to figure that out. Something's gonna give. Something has got to give. All right. Please give me a like, comment, and subscribe. In the comments below, let me know. Let me know what you guys think about. What do you think about my future? What is your opinion? And give it to me bluntly. Just be like, Sam, I think you're kind of full of crap, and you're not gonna make it, and you're gonna burn out in three months. Or Sam, you're doing too much, and you're burnt out. I want to know your honest opinion, and I won't hold it against you, at least publicly. What do you guys think about what I'm doing? Like, do you think it's like, oh, it's really cool, or it's like, oh, that's really cool, but you're dreaming? Let me know what you guys think. All right. Peace.